going to have to cross off the values, the expressions that are in your packet, and you're going to want to replace them with the ones that I'm putting in there. All right, so let's first start with exercise number 1, and we are going to multiply out these binomials. All right, remember, binomial means 2 terms, and we are going to end up with a trinomial. Remember, trinomial means 3 terms. All right, so if you feel comfortable enough that you can pause the video, then go ahead. You can pause the video and then try A, B, and C on your own, or you can follow me. So now remember, when you're doing, when you're multiplying binomials, we're going to use one of the 3 methods that your teachers have taught you, either FOIL, box, or double distribute. All right, any one of those ways that you do it is fine. All right, we just need to make sure that everything in the first set of parentheses is going to multiply with everything in the second set of parentheses. Once we've done that, we're going to combine our like terms, which are often but not always in the middle, and we end up with a trinomial, or a polynomial function that has 3 terms. There's our answer. All right, next thing. X squared plus 7x minus 2x minus 14. Find my like terms. There we go. All right. Now, for C, we're going to be super careful because we've got lots of minus signs. So I should be thinking about negative as I'm doing this multiplication. All right. Remember, there is no shame in using your calculator to help you with the multiplication or combining your like terms. All right. So go ahead and use your calculator whenever you need to, and if you need to pause this video for more time, you can also do that as well. All right, now we're going to go into some other ones that are a little bit, they've just got more numbers because I've got coefficients on my first term. All right, don't forget, we multiply first. I'm multiplying my terms first. And then I combine, which means add or subtract depending on your signs. I combine my like terms. Also remember that you can at any time pause this, rewind it, and rewrite if you need to. All right, you could also pause it, take some time, go ahead and do B and C on your own if you want, or you can just keep following me. Hopefully that this is a lot of review, both from earlier in this chapter and from earlier this year. Oh, hold on. That's not a 19, it's a 14. Looked a little bit like a 19, but I fixed it. All right, and the last one, again, hopefully this is just a lot of review for you. Oh, and I'm going to be super careful here because I have a negative and a negative. A minus and a minus is going to be a plus 5. I've got 8x squared minus 22x plus 5. No shame in using your calculator. We don't need anybody making mistakes that aren't needed. All right. Now, there's a reason why we did this warm-up exercise. All right. We did this warm-up exercise because we are now going to go backwards. All right, so we reviewed this topic that we reviewed a couple of days ago and did in chapter 1 or 2, chapter 1, I think. And now what I'm going to give you is the trinomial, and I want you to break it up into the 2 binomials. So I'm going to give you the trinomial, the three terms, and you need to tell me what two binomials multiply together to be that. All right? This is called factoring. Whenever you break up a number or a polynomial expression into things that multiply together to be it, it's called factoring. All right? So, first edit we're going to make on this page is I want you to change this 2x squared plus 13x plus 20. I want you to change that to x squared plus 9x plus 20. All right? So, we want to write it as a product of two binomials. All right? We're reversing what we did in the first two exercises. All right, so fill in the missing blanks with the only pair that makes sense. All right, so the first blanks, what two things can I multiply together to give me this x squared? Hopefully you were thinking x and x, because x and x multiply together to be x squared. All right, why does it make sense that both of the binomials will be addition? So I've already got this filled in for you as addition. Why does it make sense that both of them will be plus plus in my binomials? All right, and there's going to be, what we're going to do here is kind of go a little bit to the end. We're jumping around here. I need two numbers that multiply together to be a positive 20. All right, so those last two numbers multiply together to be positive 20. All right. We'll multiply to get positive 20. So in order to do that, I need to have either a positive times a positive or a negative times a negative. So how do I know that it's positive positive instead of negative negative? Well, for this piece, I'm going to look at the middle number. The middle number. And that's where what we get. We get the middle number when we combine our like terms. When we combine our like terms. If I'm going to combine two numbers to get a positive, I need them to be positive positive, because if you combine two numbers that are both negative, there is no way you're ever going to get a minus or a negative. All right? So we will add to get a positive 9. All right? So now what we need to look for is what pair of numbers are going to give us 20. This is looking for the second set of numbers in each of the parentheses. All right? So I need to multiply. It would be like multiplying these two numbers, the last numbers, to get a positive 20. All right. So factors of 20. 1 and 20. 2 and 10. 3, nope, 3 doesn't work. 4 and 5 work. All right, are those all the factors? I think so. All right, so try various pairs from C, checking to find linear terms that will sum to, I'm going to change this, 9x, until you find the correct factorization. All right, so this is where we're going to try different numbers. All right, I promise that this turns into less guessing and more smart guesses as you become more fluent with this. All right, so if I try 1 and 20, all right, will that get me the positive 9x that I need in the middle? If I have 20x and 1x, no, that's not going to work, because that would get me to 21x. All right, let's try 2, and 10. All right, so let's see. If I did this piece and this piece, this is called the linear term. All right, the linear term is the one that has just the x in the middle. All right, so I've got 10x and 2x. Does that get me to 9x? No, that doesn't. All right, let's try one more. I got 4 and 5. All right, let's try this now. 5x and 4x. 5x and 4x. Is that going to get me to 9 in the middle? It sure is, and I can double check to make sure that it works by doing all of my FOIL box double distributive. X squared plus 5x plus 4x plus 4 times 5 is 20. And it works, so I know that this is the correct answer. All right, it's the correct factorization. All right, let's go on the back and let's do a whole bunch of them, but we are going to have to change a couple to make them a little bit easier just for our first go at this. All right, let's change this one to x squared plus 10x plus 16. All right, so first thing we're going to do, all right, set up your two binomials, and now we're going to try and fill in the blank. All right, first term has got to be x and x. That's how I'm going to get an x squared. Next thing is I'm going to look at my signs. My last sign is positive. So that means I either need positive positive to multiply together to be 16 or negative negative to multiply together to be a positive 16. All right, so I don't know if it's going to be positive positive or negative negative, so I'm going to check inside the middle and see what sign that is. It's a plus, so that means I want positive positive to add up to 10. All right, so what I'm looking for now is I want factors of 16, numbers that multiply together to be 16. Oh, this is a little light, hopefully you can see this. 2 and 8. 3, nope, 3 doesn't work. 4 and 4. So which of these values, when I combine them, is going to give me 10? 2 and 8. 2 and 8 are going to combine. All right, and we can double check by doing our FOIL box double distribute. All right, so x times x is x squared, x times 8 is 8x, 2 times x is 2x, and our last terms are 2 and 8, which give me the 16. And it works. Alrighty, next one. We don't need to change this one. This one's perfect the way it is. I need x and x to multiply together to be x squared. Now I need to think about my signs. All right, I either need a positive positive or a negative negative. And so, because those combinations will get me a positive 10 when I multiply. All right, now in the middle, I need my linear term, the terms that have the x with it, to be a negative 7. All right, to be a negative 7. So I need to think about, how am I going to get a negative 7? If I add two positive numbers together, will I get a negative 7? No way, no how. They must be minus minus. All right, so now what we're going to start thinking about are factors of 10, numbers that multiply together to be 10. And when I combine them, I want them to be equal to 7. So I've got 1 and 10, and 2 and 5. So I need to look at which pair is going to give me a 7 when I combine. Hopefully you are thinking that 2 and 5 are going to do the job. And I can check my work by doing my FOIL box double distribute, whatever way you learned how to do it. First, outside is minus 5x, inside minus 2x, all right, and last plus 10, x squared minus 7x plus 10, and it checks. All right, so C, all right, go ahead and I want you to pause the video and give C a try right now on your own. Go ahead, try and get all the signs and the numbers correct. All right, welcome back, and I hope that you were able to figure out that I want x plus 3 and x plus 7, and it works. I can tell that it's going to work by checking it. These are great problems to be asked because you know if you got it right, because it is going to check back to the original. All right, for D, I'm going to change D. All right, and D is going to be a different kind of problem, so I'm going to do this one with you. All right, this time I'm going to have two numbers that multiply together to be negative 18, which means I need a positive and a negative, because when I multiply together a positive and a negative, I get negative 18. All right, now what's different about this too is that when I look for my factors, 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6, I can't just go putting numbers in the parentheses. I need to be very mindful about which number is going to get a positive or the plus and which number is going to get the minus. It is going to be super important. Your answer will be entirely wrong if you place your numbers in the wrong order. Okay, so I need to think about how can I get a negative 3x in the middle. All right, which way can I place my numbers? Now, hopefully you're thinking, hey, 3 and 6 are going to combine to give me a 3. All right, 3 and 6 are going to combine to give me a 3. Now, how I place them is what's going to give me a minus 3x in the middle. All right, now, if you're pretty good with signed numbers, you might already be thinking that 6 is going to go with the minus and 3 is going to go with the plus. And you will check back your work to make sure that this is actually how it goes. If you're not super great with signed numbers, you're going to want to really rely on your calculator to help you with this. And you're going to want to make sure that you're doing your checks to make sure that you've got both the correct pairing of numbers with the correct signs. All right, and I'm going to show you what would have happened if I had put the signs with the opposite numbers. All right, so this is what would happen if I put the numbers in the other order. It looks almost the same, except this number isn't correct. So therefore, that would have given me a wrong answer. All right, very important that we're putting the right numbers with the right signs. All right, I'm going to cross off this E, and I want to write x squared plus 3x minus 40. And I want you to try to do this problem just like we did the last one on your own. All right, so go ahead, pause the video, try and get the correct signs with the correct numbers. Go ahead. So hopefully you were able to pick out 5 and 8 being numbers that multiply together to be 40, and when combined will give me a positive 3x. And I'm going to have a positive and a negative, and I need to be very mindful about who gets the plus and who gets the minus. I'm going to give 8 the positive and 5 the minus, because when I combine them, I want those middle numbers to be combined to a positive 3x. So it works when I check. Beautiful. All right, hopefully you are really getting the hang of this. All right, so cross off F and write this new one. All right, we're doing the easy ones for today. All right. Let's work on this one together because it can be a little bit tricky. All right, I'm going to put in an X and an X. And now I need factors of 24, and there's a lot of them for 24. 4 and 6, and I think I've got them all. So now I need to have a positive and a negative, a positive and a negative. And I want my factors, when I combine them, to give me a 10. This is where we get a little bit trickster, all right? Because I end up with 2 pairs that when I combine are going to give me the 10. All right, so I need to be very mindful about what happens in the middle when I'm checking. All right, when I'm checking numbers that are opposite signs, I am subtracting those numbers. So what I really need here are the pair. All right, I need the pair that subtracts to be 10. I need to combine 2 and 12 to get a negative 10, and they're going to have opposite signs. All right, now in order for the negative to stick, he's going to have to be paired up with the 12. All right, if you happen to pick the wrong order, all you're going to need to do is check your work and see how close you get. If you're off by just a middle sign, reverse your numbers. All right, and you have to be patient with these because you really want to get them correct. We will see more in the next chapter. We will find out more in the next chapter about why these are important to know how to do. All right, you will also use these in Algebra 2 and further mathematics. All right, here's what I'm going to have you do. I'm going to change h to be x squared minus 5x plus 6. And I want you to do g and h right now. So pause the video, do these 2 problems, unpause the video, and we'll see if we're correct. Although, if you're doing a good job with this, you should be checking your work to also check to see if you're doing a good job with this. All right, so hopefully you worked through these, you've checked your work, and you knew that g is going to be x minus 6 times x minus 2. I needed minus minus for my signs because that will multiply to be 12, and I wanted them to combine to be negative 8. And that's what I got. All right, the next one is a trickster. All right, hopefully you didn't fall for the trick and you've used your signs to help you and checked your work. All right, so I've got x and x. I need them to multiply together to be a positive 6, so I need either a plus plus or a minus minus. To get them to combine to be a minus 5, I need them to be minus minus, which means I don't want 1 and 6, but in fact I want 2 and 3. Because 2 and 3 will combine to give me the negative 5 that I need. All right, I say that this is a trickster problem because all I'd have to do to get completely different answers for this problem is give you a similar problem with 1 sign change. So notice how I write down a completely different problem. I've got a minus 6 instead of a plus 6, and watch how our answers change. I need an x and an x, a plus and a minus to get that minus 6. All right? So instead of using 2 and 3 for this problem, I'm going to use 1 and 6 so that I can combine to get that -5 in the middle. All right? There's a couple of these problems. They show up every once in a while that seem confusing because you end up with two pairs of numbers that combine in some way, shape, or form to that middle number. All right? See you later.